Paymetric's XiRecon for SAP report allows for consolidated reporting of information from the SAP database, from Paymetric's cloud-based environment, as well as from a processor. This information is consolidated into a report executed and viewed within the SAP application. It allows an end user to compare information about a settlement batch that has been compiled in the three different systems. In order to demonstrate this, we'll run a range of batches that we have created previously, which simulate different scenarios that may be detected with the XiRecon report. Here you can see that we're showing at a summary level 3 batches, batch 79, 80, and 81. We'll begin with batch 81 at the bottom. The green traffic light signifies that all transactions that were included within a settlement batch have been accounted for and reconciled across the 3 data sources. As we scroll across to the right, we can see that 34 transactions for a sum total of $8,585 were submitted from SAP. We've been able to confirm that Paymetric received the same number of transactions for the same total, and that similar information was received from the processor to indicate that the same number of transactions and the same dollar amount were received by the processor as well. At this point, it should be possible to log into the merchant's bank account to confirm that a deposit has been made for this amount. For batch 80, we're simulating that SAP has submitted 13 transactions for $2,474.50. Paymetric received the same number of transactions in the same amount. However, as you look at the processor columns, you'll notice at the very end we have 0 transactions received and $0 accounted for. This is very likely a timing issue. Normally when you submit a settlement batch, it takes between 24 and 72 hours for the batch deposit to be accumulated by the processor and then deposited into the merchant's bank account. In this case, perhaps if we run the XiRecon report tomorrow for batch 80, we'll see that these columns have been updated and the deposit has been made. For batch 79, as we scroll across, you're going to see that we're simulating a potential problem at every step. So SAP submitted 55 transactions for just over $10,500. Paymetric only received 54 of those transactions, and by the time we get to the final acknowledgement from the processor, only 50 of those 55 transactions have been acknowledged. How do we determine which of those 5 transactions that were originally submitted from SAP were not accounted for by the processor? In standard SAP, you'd be required to run a report and pull an extract in the form of a spreadsheet that would list all 55 of the transactions that were submitted from SAP. You would then be required to log on to Paymetric and also to the processor's website and pull a similar report, combine those into a single Excel spreadsheet, and then try to reconcile which of those transactions is missing. You would do that by sorting or filtering the transactions within that spreadsheet accordingly. Well, with XiRecon, we simply click on the batch 79, and you'll notice that we list in red each of the 5 transactions that we have determined through matching do not occur both in SAP and in the processor's acknowledgement files. So these 5 transactions are the 5 which are missing, which were not accounted for, and for which the merchant likely will not receive a deposit. Again, you need to confirm that by logging into your bank account and checking that the deposit amount matches the amount that the final column specifies should be deposited, and then comparing that with the amount that you see in the report in XiRecon. At this point, you've identified which 5 transactions need to be reversed in SAP, which need to either be written off or through another means you need to try and collect on those particular transactions. So rather than building spreadsheets, extracting reports from multiple systems, trying to combine them manually, trying to sort or filter through them, in order to find transactions which are missing from your deposit report for which SAP is assuming you will receive the deposit, the XiRecon automatically consolidates that information from multiple systems, again pulling information from the SAP database, from Paymetric's cloud database and also from the processor's acknowledgement files. That data is combined into a single report which you're able to access directly from SAP and which will help you automatically find transactions which are not reconciled.